You are listening to The World As I See It podcast. 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 As I see it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back, or welcome to The World As I See It podcast. Guys, it feels so good to be back. I'm glad to be back recording for episode 50. Because those past few episodes, they were pre-recorded. So it feels good to record this episode that's not being pre-recorded. So in case you haven't read the title yet, or have not heard me say the first time, this is officially episode 50. We did it. Now, this is not the milestone episode, but there will be one coming soon. That will be 52 for 1 year of this podcast. But anyway, I am seriously cannot believe that we are at episode 50 already. And to the people who have been listening since day one, thank you so much for your support. And if you are new here, welcome to the show. Come join us. So, today, I am going to be talking all about my experience at S.O.A.R. Now, if you did not listen to the pre-recorded episode, episode 45, S.O.A.R stands for Summer Orientation and Mobility and Adapted Living Resource Program. It is basically a high-intensive 3-week residential training program run by Lighthouse for the Blind for youth ages 16 to 21 who are legally blind. And during the program, we stayed right on campus in residential dorms, living together and learning together. And we did so much while we were there. And I'll be honest, by the end of it, I was very tired. But it was so worth it to me. Because I learned so much. So, like I've mentioned, back in episode 45, I attended this program to gain more independence, to gain more confidence, and to work on things that I really needed some extra practice with. Sighted people, you can do so much everyday things without a second thought. You could pick out an outfit. You can shop. You can chop up food in the kitchen without a second thought. You can do things without a second thought. But for visually impaired people, it's so much more than that. Because we have to learn good techniques and figure out how to do things safely and completely independently. Take clothing management, for example. You sighted people, you take getting dressed completely for granted. Okay, I'm sure you do. You know, you look in your closet and you're like, these two reds match. Guess I'm wearing that today. And you put it on. But when you are visually impaired, matching outfits, it takes real strategy and specialized tools. Now, for me, during my clothing management domain, I learned to use Braille tags. So I'll take the Braille tag and use a safety pin to stick it right onto the clothing tag. That way, when I open up my closet, I can feel it and go, oh, here's my pink shirt. Actually, no. Here's my dark red shirt. It's very specific. It's not just red. It's light red or dark red. Now, let me find these to match it. And with those tags, I can, coordinate everything completely on my own. And you may be thinking, well, are there other ways to do it? Absolutely, there are. But that is the way that I found is the most easiest and the most efficient for me. The same thing applies for cooking and cleaning. In home maintenance, I used special labels that wrap around cleaning bottles so that I always know exactly what chemicals or products I'm using around the house. And in cooking, we use some amazing tools to stay safe. When I was chopping ingredients, I wore a special knife glove. And also, the knives themselves actually had a knife guard over them so that if I grabbed it, I wouldn't cut myself. I had to physically take the guard off to use the blade. When I was measuring ingredients, I worked over a big tray so that if I made a spill or a mess, it was totally okay and contained. And honestly, I'll be honest, okay, I really did not like using a standard stove. And here's my reasoning. A regular stove is scary because it's big, and if you reach out to do something, with me not being able to see, I might easily burn my hand or my arm. Instead, I learned how to use something called an induction cooktop. And I really, really liked it. It's much smaller, it cooks much faster, and while the outside of the pot or pan gets warm, it doesn't burn you if you touched it. And I know that from experience. One time I was in cooking and I touched the outside of the pot and it startles you, but it doesn't burn you. And finding that tool made a huge difference in my confidence in the kitchen. Another major part of staying safe and independent is knowing how to protect yourself in the real world. Every Tuesday, we had self-defense classes to learn exactly what to do if, you're in a bad situation and you need to defend yourself. I hope I never have to use it, but we practice specific safety moves on a trained dummy. He's a training dummy named Bob. Don't know why his name was Bob, but anyway, it was actually kind of fun, but I hope I never have to use those skills. We learned about different strategic target areas to strike if something goes wrong, like the ears, eyes, nose, and throat. And on our very last day of classes, we even learned how to use our elbows to attack and get away safely. It was honestly kind of empowering and a great way to build up our confidence. Like I said, hopefully never have to use. Along that, another massive area of independence we focused on was orientation and mobility. This was incredibly valuable for me because I spent a lot of time learning how to navigate public transportation, like taking the bus, taking the train, taking the Uber, asking the right questions to stay safe. Because where I live, I don't have any public transportation at all. So being able to get out there, getting exposed to those skills and learning how to navigate a transit system, it's on my own. It's a huge milestone and a real confidence booster for the future. And we also got to go out into the community. When classes were over, we did so many fun things. We went to the zoo, which was a blast. And we went to a Cardinals game that was audio described. Spoiler alert, they didn't win, which kind of made me mad. I'm a very competitive person, so I really wanted them to win. Anyway, it was still a amazing experience. I also went to Dave and Buster's, which it's this huge arcade packed with games. And on our very last night, we had a really relaxed and fun time going to a dine-in descriptive movie theater to watch Toy Story 5. We also took the trip to the Gateway Arch. Now, let me tell you. I did not like going up to the top of the arch. That was not fun for me at all. Won't do again. Anyway, moving on. But the museum underneath was very fun and fantastic. It was accessible and really fun to experience. When we weren't out on those big trips, we were giving back to the community. We made blankets for residents at a women's visually impaired nursing home. So the women were visually impaired. We got to plant flowers. We even made Braille boxes to send out to visually impaired kids. And of course, we just loved hanging out on campus. We played tons of Uno, had a karaoke nights, trivia nights, and plenty of dance parties. Toward the end of the program, we focused heavily on etiquette to prepare for a big formal business luncheon at Maggiano's. Basically, it's this fancy restaurant. In etiquette classes, I learned how to properly serve food with serving utensils and how to navigate a fancy table setting. I also learned a technique called using a pusher. So you can use something like a piece of bread as a pusher to guide food onto your fork when it's hard to scoop. I also learned how to cut properly with a knife and a fork. I was not very good at that before coming to S.O.A.R, but practicing it built up so much of my confidence. And getting to sit down at a fancy restaurant, and also we heard from a former participant who had come to S.O.A.R. And I got to put all my skills into practice. It was just this amazing feeling. And before I came to the program, I was honestly very nervous. Compared to the pre-S.O.A.R episode now, I was very nervous. And that's what I said in the pre-S.O.A.R episode, because I just didn't know what to expect. But honestly, I wasn't nervous by day 2. And when it was time to leave, it was so bittersweet because you get so incredibly close with the other participants over those 3 weeks because you're living together and doing absolutely everything together. I loved the experience so much, and it was definitely very, very helpful, confidence boosting, and just empowering. And I want to say a huge thank you to anyone who's listening to the podcast and who are from S.O.A.R, any staff or anything. Thank you for putting your time and your effort and your hearts into making this program so incredible and successful for every participant. So, with all that being said, if you have any questions, ideas, or feedback, you can comment down below or you can send me an email. My email is theworldasiseeitpodcast@gmail.com. Stay curious, keep listening, and I will talk to you in episode 51.
You've been listening to The World as I See It podcast.